Okay guys, in the fourth video, I want to continue where we left off and work towards a bot spawner that creates lots of bots and sends them at the player. So first things first, the attack bot here is going to need to be a prefab. We're going to be building lots of them. And just pay attention to the attack bot. You put its position at something 0, and then the agent and the body have independent height. And maybe we generally want, let's say, the body to start at 6. Well, actually, we can just put the body at 0. We've got our script configured, if you recall, to always put the agent on the bottom. So even if I put the agent bot prefab high up in the air, which initially looks like a bad idea, it should drop the agent down to the bottom and everything should come together nicely. All right, happy enough. It's important to me because I need to know where to spawn these guys. Everything's good. I'm going to remove this one from the scene because I made a prefab. And I'm going to create some kind of object to spawn these guys at me. I'm going to call that thing a bot spawner. And the bot spawner is going to, I don't know, he can just be a cylinder, I suppose. In fact, I'll recreate him as a primitive cylinder. There he is. Let's make him look cool. Under materials, I'll create a new material called bot spawner. Not actually going to use a texture file, but I do kind of think he might look cool if he's totally black, and we'll make that cylinder. So there he is. I'd also like him to be like totally different size, all kinds of stuff. Let me rename him bot spawner. Let me make him a lot shorter. Let me bring him out of the ground and rotate him by 90 degrees. I think in the end, I'm going to be putting him in like kind of these corner positions. Maybe something up there in the corner of the room. So let's get that right. What is it? 3.5, negative 3.5. Actually, it looks like we can do 3 and negative 3. There he is, sticking out of the corner just a little bit. I'll scoot him out. That looks okay. I want him even smaller, actually, on Y, 0.25, 0.4. That might be all right. Also think it might look cool if he was super shiny. Let's see, 3. Yeah, we'll be able to spawn bots in there. 3.1, negative 3.1. He doesn't have a capsule collider. He's not about collisions. He's not about complex lighting. I do want to have a little bit of fun with this. I'm going to give him a metallic look. Kind of makes him look dark, reflective. And from that void of darkness, we'll have cubes spawning. He needs a script for sure. I'll call it the bot spawner. And it's going to have to build the prefabs. Something like this, I think. Bot spawner, public game object, bot prefab. link that up with an attack bot. And for now, let's just have them spawn one. Instantiate bot prefab at the same position as the gadget, as the bot spawner, and here I'm going to use quaternion.identity, which basically means not rotated at all. The cube rotates randomly anyways, so that's just like your 0, 0, 0 rotation. If I've done that right at the beginning, a bot should pop out there, come beat me up. There he goes. All right, cool. I want him to do that often. We want lots of bad guys. So here we go. One, we're going to have some float specifying when the next spawn time is going to be. And we're going to have some float specifying how long we wait between spawns. And how long we wait is going to be a little bit random. Random dot range. Let's say we're going to wait somewhere between 3.0 and 5.0 float seconds. I use floats here because I want anything between the two, not just integers. And then the next spawn time is going to be time.time, which is short for right now, plus the wait time. And here I can say, hey, is it time to spawn an object? If it's time to spawn an object, instantiate one of these guys and set the next spawn time accordingly. I'll set them between 2 and 4. Let's see how that goes. Every couple seconds, on average every 3 seconds, we should get a bad guy. Gotta do a little bit of counting. There's the first one. There's the second one. They're not actually appearing inside the cube. They're too high. That's because my body was set to always be above the agent. Let's try it again. Okay, he's appearing inside the cylinder. I'm starting to feel like these bots are like pretty darn big and I might want to scale them down some. Let's see, body. Yep, that's okay. I like it well enough. They come pouring out of this guy. I could see spawning them a little bit closer to the intro. I'm all right with it. I'm going to let it be. Don't want to spend too much time on this. I do want to put these guys all over the map. And so I want a prefab. Bot spawner is a prefab. Duplicate him. Tweak the values, put them in the corner of all the rooms. Of course, when he's in here, he has to be rotated differently. Cool. I want more of them. Let's put some more out there. Let's see how that looks. A little bit too far. Oh yeah, that's nice. All right. Okay, a couple more. This guy needs to be rotated. There you go, 8 bot spawners. Remember, our player right now is hanging out over here with the blue triangle. Let's see what happens. So first of all, you've got these bots coming from all over the place. Then they're blowing up. We need to make the particle effects nicer. It's actually kind of a nightmare, which I'm okay with a nightmare, but one of my big problems here is that, well, I'm tired of that agent tag for one. And then the guys who can't see you, if you're not in the room with them, they shouldn't be releasing bots at you. To do that, we need to do line of sight. To do line of sight, there's a few things that we have to understand. Rule 1, line of sight is done with what's called a physics.raycast. Let's do that real quick. The bot spawner script should basically say, can you see me? And only if he can see the player should he instantiate a bad guy. So need a handle of the player. Game object space player. We've got it tagged, so I can just get it by tag. The next thing I want is basically to use a method called physics.raycast, and he's a little bit weird. Let me look up how to use them. I'm actually going to use something called line cast, which is a form of raycast between 2 points. And I don't really see the example I want. I guess I do want to look up raycast before I use line cast. Physics raycast. All right, this is basically what I want. So we have this weird placeholder variable that stores the information about the hit. We do a line cast where we say the current position. This is the bot spawner, all the way to the player. Can he see the player? And the player is just at player.transform.position. We have out space hit. This if statement is true if we hit something. And we can see the player as long as we don't hit anything between the bot spawner and the player. So I really want to know is if I hit a wall. If I hit a wall. And there's lots of crap in my scene now. There's walls. There's all kinds of attack bots. There are these other bot spawners. And there'll be more and more stuff. Eventually we'll have a sword and a shield and all kinds of stuff. What I basically want to make sure is I'm only looking for walls, because the only thing that could stop a bot spawner from seeing a player should be a wall. So, a couple things. One, the wall needs to be tagged as a wall. And two, everything else in my game needs to be invisible from a raycasting perspective. So let's solve the tag problem first. Wall, right here, needs to be tagged as wall. Create a custom tag, call it wall, go back to my wall prefab, set that as wall. The beauty of that is if I do it right, all my walls are now tagged. That's why we build prefabs. 2, everything needs to be in the ignore raycast except for walls. The minimap view here is in minimap. That's okay. But other things like the body of an attack bot needs to be in what's called ignore raycast, so it's invisible. The bot spawners, they need to be in ignore raycast. While I'm at it, I'm going to create an empty object to hold all these bot spawners called BotSpawners 000. It has no collider, so the ignore raycast concept is moot, but these guys have colliders, or at least have renderers. All right, anything else we come up with later needs to be an ignore raycast. Even the player could be ignore raycast, because really, I just want to check to see if I hit the wall. But basically, if hit.collider.tag equals wall, then I want to say we can't see the player because there's a wall between us and the player. Otherwise, we can return true. Now we update this if statement to say if you can see the player and it's time to shoot a new cube, we do it. If we've done that right, then only these guys should be shooting that. I got a problem. I need to figure it out real quick. Okay, found my mistake. Somehow when I was fiddling with this, I meant to turn off this icon, but not turn off the agent. Again, the attack bot prefab needs the agent active and the body active. I just wanted to turn off that display tag. Now back to where we were at, we were saying that if you can see the player and it's time to shoot a cube. If that is all created correctly, then there are my bad guys. There are no bad guys from any other players, from any other bot spawners. However, if I take my player and I move him to here, then suddenly these guys start spawning and the rest of these guys start pathing around. They come over here, they start pathing. Come over here, they start pathing. I'm a little curious as to why these guys aren't pathing. Come over here, these guys start pathing. Looks like we have some that are stuck. Let's take a look. Who are you and why are you stuck? Oh, you're gone. Okay, that was just an illusion, I suppose. Fascinating. It just disappears when you zoom in. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. We forgot to destroy the game object, so those are all minimap icons that are hanging out. All right. Sure enough, our blow up has one more thing to do, and that is destroy the original game object. Destroy game object, and we're just going to put a couple seconds on that. That'll give you time for your particle effect to do its thing, and should get rid of any old game objects as they sit in the scene. So with that fixed, as these guys blow up here, they should disappear. See how this list got shorter? Yeah. Okay. I'm happy.